Hi friends, welcome to Loved by Cacao. This is a home for all of us who love cacao, to share our stories, to elevate the voice of cacao through voices from all around the world. Here we will connect the threads of light that cacao is weaving between us, from heart to heart. Thank you for being here. You might like to make yourself a delicious cup of cacao to enjoy while you listen, to tune in with this sacred medicine. I am Pania, lover and facilitator of cacao, and I invite you to step in through the door to this cozy home. Come to sit on a cushion in this circle together, and may we allow ourselves to be here, to be loved by cacao. Hi dear cacao friends, with all my heart I warmly welcome you back to Loved by Cacao. Welcome back. I'm recording this on a full moon in April, in the space between equinox and Easter, on a warm afternoon at the end of summer. I have my cup of Keith's cacao, which is my personal OG cacao where it all started for me. I have fresh flowers and a full heart and a lot to catch up on with you. So I'm really grateful you're here. I'm really grateful that I'm here, that cacao is here, that it's all come together again. I'm really happy to be back. I never ever thought that the break would be this long as it has been. I thought maybe 3 months max, but life had other plans and things went differently. But I always knew that season 2 would happen. And here we are, so I'm very, very happy. It's been a true, actual, while since season 1. And yeah, there's a lot to catch up on, as I said. So, what is Loved by Cacao? It is a place where we get cozy together. We share stories from our hearts, mainly about cacao, but also about what it is to be human and divine in the same breath in this life. Cacao is a very ancient plant, one with a mysterious, beautiful, interesting history. Cacao gives us this incredible nourishment from its seeds and offers amazing healing, and it is a plant with which we can have a very beautiful relationship, should we wish. These conversations here are intended to encourage that relationship to bloom and thus support you in your own relationships and your relationship with life. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm very excited to have you here. And if you're returning, thank you for doing so. And you will know that usually we begin with a cacao blessing. However, I'm not going to do that today because this is simply an intro episode, a return to this next chapter, to season 2 of Loved by Cacao. And also because I am recording an extra little episode for you, which will be a blessing itself. You can listen to it separately whenever you like, and I'll be releasing it along with this episode on Easter. So it's an Easter gift to you, but it could be used any time of the year, and it's also my season 2 gift to you. So you can listen to this episode as a standalone, and then when you want to have your cacao and tune in and have your own ritual around it or a small meditation, that will be there for you. Just like when I started season 1, there is also an 11-minute blessing and tune in with cacao at the start of season 1. If you are drinking cacao now, I send love to you and your cup and your heart, and I wish you a beautiful time with your cacao. So today, first we'll be talking about intentions, then a road trip, followed by the summer that has just been, and finally a peek into what to look forward to this season, the exciting episodes that I have lined up for you. Yeah, here we are, and it feels so good to be back. So good. So, season 1 was a lot of fun. It was a huge learning experience for me. I got to connect with so many beautiful people and have beautiful conversations. If you haven't had a chance to listen to any of that, there are 21 gorgeous episodes there for you. And right at the very beginning, I set intentions actually with Cacao. I tuned in with Cacao more than once and got really clear on the intentions for this podcast. And to kick off season 2, I wanted to revisit those intentions and bring them back around so we know why we're here. And because intentions are powerful and they help to hold a certain frequency in what we're doing, they help to remind us why we're doing what we're doing. And intentions are important when working with Cacao because Cacao is an ally, a friend to help us move towards those intentions and to help bring them about. So I'm going to recap these intentions, and I've added a couple of new ones as well. So I'm going to read these out, and then I will get into the stories that I have for you. So, Loved by Cacao was born out of a desire to connect cacao hearts globally in a new way through recording a moment in time of connecting over a cup of cacao and sharing real life stories from the hearts of those who cacao has touched deeply in their lives and in their work. And the intention has always been to give voice to cacao in this way through the voices of those who love her and feel loved by her. To share the voice of Mama Cacao. And so the intentions for this are as follows. To give Cacao a platform to share her wisdom with us through people who work with her. To give space to hear what Cacao has to say and to learn. I intend to respect Cacao and listen to her guidance and let her guide the way here. I intend for this to be a vehicle to pour love into the world through connection and education and growth for those who tune in. I intend this to be a place where we can all share and learn, and for this to be a space for those of us who love cacao to be even more connected to the true gift that this medicine is. And my new intention for this season 2 is to be really present to the process and to listen to divine guidance, to hear the hearts of people I collaborate with, to listen to my own heart, and to hear the essence that is wanting to shine through in each creation and offer. And especially to be present and to bring peace and joy to this space. So thank you, Cacao, for all the wisdom that you share with us. And I'm filled with gratitude when I think about everything Cacao has brought into my life, and when I think about how much I learned through creating the first part of this podcast and how much I've learned from Cacao in general, and it's ongoing. Season 1, we had some beautiful, beautiful conversations with people in New Zealand and overseas, and I told you my whole story, my background with Cacao, and it was a lot of fun. And like I said, I always intended to keep it going. So what happened? Well, before I get into it, thank you for listening to those intentions. I appreciate it. And it feels really good to have opened in this way. I feel grateful for this process to be opening again. I've missed this. It's been really good to have a break, but I've also really missed it. I love talking about cacao and I love sharing, and it's really beautiful to connect with people who listen. Some of you reach out to me sometimes, and I've missed that. I've missed connecting with guests and just being immersed in cacao. So, why has there been such a big break? It's been an interesting process, and it's one I could make probably a whole podcast on, because I've pondered on a lot of different things over the last several months. Subjects around like expectation and how we think we need things to be so consistent in the world, and how there's this pressure to consistently create when you're a content creator. And it's brought me into a lot of internal journeys that have been really interesting, and I feel like I needed that, and maybe the podcast needed it, I don't know, but it did go on a little longer than I'd hoped, and there was some guilt around that. I felt this pressure to come back, but it's all in good time as well, because here we are. And so 3 things took place between seasons. The first is that I had announced I was going to take a break. I had said I would keep people posted, and I literally thought that break would be like 3 months, because I was intending to set off on a big road trip all around New Zealand in the spring. And I really thought that I was going to record episodes with people I would meet along the way and release episodes as I went. So I did this huge road trip from the far north of New Zealand all the way through the North Island, down across on the ferry, down into the South Island, down to Canterbury, and then all the way back up again. And I'm a slow traveller, so it took quite a lot of time, and I had a lot of people to see along the way, a lot of things to do, and I did book in some exciting guest interviews, which I seriously cannot wait to share with you. And as I said, I thought I would release those as I went. I also thought I would share my journey on social media as I went. However, it very quickly became unsustainable to actually do that, and I tried to push myself to do it, but the trip itself required my focus and immersion. There was a lot of driving, a lot of logistics. Van life kind of slows me down as well. You're in a small space, and things like cooking they seem to take longer, and everything seems to take longer when you're in a van. And every time you move somewhere, you have to put everything away in order to move. So it's a lot of moving things around. And there were just a lot of people to see. And I had been in a very sort of hermit phase over the winter, and it was kind of intense to come out and be so social for so many weeks. So my energy was mostly going to the movement of being on the road, the driving, the logistics, and the socializing. It was so good to see lots of friends and family, and I made some new friends along the way and new connections, and as I said, recorded episodes. So it was an incredible road trip. I'm so thankful I was able to do it. And so I quickly let go of the idea that I should content create as I went. I was just like, no, this is not going to happen. I'll do it when I get back to the far north. What I didn't really see coming is that by the time I got back, I was actually quite burnt out. I was exhausted from the constant movement it took 3 months, because once I got back to the North Island, my partner and I travelled around quite a bit as well. And it was so good to see him again. I missed him a lot when I was away. It was quite a long time apart. And so, my energy went back into being with him and into our trip. And we got all the way back to the far north, and I was just burnt out and I wanted to enjoy summer. And I went into an interesting phase of, if I'm really honest, just being a little bit disillusioned with where I was at in life, a little bit disillusioned with the world of spirituality. And I kind of just wanted a break. And again, this is a whole other subject I could go into a lot deeper. But basically, I needed to take some time off of everything. And so I enjoyed summer. I found a different subject that I really enjoy, which I won't go into now. But it was a lot of fun. And I also just really enjoyed beach time, being on the road, up in the far north, being on the beach, swimming a lot, walking on the beach a lot, and processing a lot of things. So I didn't realize I would need so much time, but I'm grateful I was able to take it. And I know for myself that when I do that, my creativity returns when it's meant to. So that was the other thing, because I was kind of burnt out. I just had no creative drive. And that can be a little depressing for someone who loves to create. I really love creating things like this podcast, and I love to write, and I enjoy content creation, but I just had no drive. And so, yeah, it felt a bit odd, a bit strange, but it's happened to me in the past, and I know that when I'm in that place, I kind of have to just accept it. So I'm grateful that I could, because the spark has returned. I feel a lot of renewed energy now, and I feel even more excited to share with you the episodes that were recorded on the trip. So that was actually a big reason that I went on that big road trip, because I wanted to do a tour of making podcast episodes in person. A lot of my recordings for the podcast have been on Zoom, a lot of the guest interviews, and while that is also great, I really, really love to be with people in person, so you can drink cacao together, be in each other's energy, record in the same space. It just has a completely different vibe, and I love it. And so I knew that there are lots of different people who work with cacao dotted around New Zealand, and I decided to go and meet with as many of them as I could. I would have liked to meet with everybody, but that would have taken an extra couple of months. Maybe I can do another one at some stage. But yeah, so sorry to those of you who I missed out on connecting with in person. But I did get to record with 6 amazing people in the North Island and South Island. And I'm so thankful to all of you. You know who you are. Thank you for having the time to meet with me and to drink cacao together and to share your hearts. All of our meetings and our recordings were just so, so beautiful and so heartwarming. And the conversations are timeless, and I can't wait to share them with you. So we have 2 from the North Island and 4 conversations from the South Island. And we have a whole variety of stories and of ways that people work with cacao, and yeah, lots to share. So those episodes are going to be coming up very soon, but before they do, I have a very, very special episode to share with you first, which was recorded way back in August and I had intended to release that at the time, but it was also around the time that I really needed a break from the podcast, and I thought I'll release this as the first one of the next season, because it's a really different and amazing interview with a woman named Dalen Culver, she was in London at the time of recording, but she lives in Europe, and Dalen did her master's dissertation on the ceremonial use of cacao, or the ceremonial movement around cacao. She was mainly based in Guatemala for her research, and it was such an interesting conversation, quite different to some of the other ones we've had. I really enjoyed her perspective, being that she has one foot in the world of spirituality and one in the world of science, and she brings them together really beautifully. So I think you're going to find that conversation quite fascinating, and it's an interesting way to kick off the season because it gets us talking about what actually is this movement of ceremonial cacao and what are we all doing with cacao. So it'll be good food for thought, and yeah, so that's going to be coming out really soon, and then you will get to kind of like come along on my New Zealand tour with me via the conversations that I had along the way. So I'll release them one by one, and then I also have, after that, there'll be an 8th episode in all of these. 9 if you count this one, 10 if you count the little Cacao Blessing. So we should be up to episode 10 of season 1 by the time we bring out a beautiful conversation that I had with my very dear friend Andrew. He has actually been on the podcast before, and we recorded a 3-hour episode over Zoom about a lot of beautiful things that I had been wanting to talk to him about on the podcast for a while. And we went really deep and covered a lot. It was gorgeous. So I can't wait to release that in a few weeks, probably several weeks. But just know that that will be coming as well. I haven't decided yet whether to release that as 2 episodes or as 1. Feel free to message me if you have any thoughts about that. Would you listen to a 3-hour podcast episode around cacao and life and lots of other juicy subjects? Anyway, I like long form content myself. I don't know if everyone does, but you can always break it up in 2 parts for yourself. So I might just release it all as 1 because it was a beautiful container in itself with an opening and a closing. But we'll see. I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So this is what you have to look forward to coming up. I haven't dropped the names yet of the New Zealand tour people, but you will find out who they are as these episodes are released. And yeah, I'm just really, really excited to finally share these conversations that I've been hoarding. I'm sorry I've been keeping them from you. I've been very selfish, keeping them all to myself, but they've always been intended for many ears to listen to them, and they will be out soon. So these are the main things that I wanted to share with you today. And other than that, I just hope that you're doing really, really well. I know that the world is a little confusing and different, and there's lots of other things that I could say about how the world is right now. I send you a lot of love and encourage any form of returning to your own center, because there's so much that can draw us out of our center, that can distract us. There's a lot of things pulling at our attention at the moment, and a lot of change, a lot of unknown. And cacao is actually such a beautiful way to invite ourselves to slow down and tune in with a frequency of love, a frequency of support, and of possibility. And these things are needed now more than ever. Grounding ourselves, connecting with the earth, connecting with the divine, any way that you can find to feel grounded in yourself and in who you are. And remember the present moment. Anything you can do to support yourself, I encourage you. Whether that's walking outside, being with trees, being with really good friends and loved ones, being with animals, returning to nature, sitting with cacao or other plant medicines that support you. Rose, tuning in with the frequency of love through rose. I really, really encourage you to take care of yourself at the moment. And yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that these are interesting times. And if you're choosing to spend your time listening to this podcast, I'm really, really honored. And I hope that it will be enjoyable for you, bring you some joy and some love and some peace and some encouragement to know that you are not alone at all on this human journey, that we're here together, and that there are many, many hearts connected globally through the beautiful frequencies of cacao. And I hope to connect with you more in future. So with that, I wish you love, and now season 2 is officially open, and let's journey together again with cacao. I hope we get to journey together on sometime online or in person, and I wish you beautiful journeys with your heart. Have a wonderful, wonderful day or night, and talk soon. Lots and lots of love. Bye for now. Thank you for opening your heart here and listening today. Please subscribe to keep getting episodes in Apple, Spotify or YouTube. And please share this podcast with your cacao-loving friends. You can follow us on Instagram at Loved by Cacao. Please take care of your heart and may you feel loved.